with the Vance. No, I'm playing. But yeah, you tuned to Kev Kenya TV, and it's your boy Kev Kenya. I'm the host of this, and I just wanted to kick it with my people. I want to kick it with my fellow YouTubers, fellow small YouTubers, as well as fellow big YouTubers. I'm For me, I don't count myself as one of either. I feel like I'm one until I become the other. So I'm a small streamer, but we gonna get it up there. We gonna get it up there. All right. So today I wanted to kind of kick it back and kind of look at some things that I feel like definitely make a difference when it comes to this whole YouTube shit. Like I feel like when it comes to this whole YouTube shit, you gotta come prepared. You gotta come ready for what it come with. And this thing ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. And I'm telling you, like, a lot of people, they want to be famous. They want to have, like, the fame. They want to have, you know, millions in their bank account, hundreds of thousands every month. But the part that they don't talk to you about, that's what we're here to talk about today. So, one of the things that I think people don't really talk about is the fact that you can be a put it this way. People think becoming a YouTuber, you have to be a certain type of personality. Like you got to be, this, that, or the other, based off of what's already established. But unfortunately, the game has lied to you, and I'm here to break the truth. So the thing about it is, you don't have to necessarily fit yourself in any category. The thing about it is, you just have to know what your purpose is. When you come up here on YouTube, your purpose is going to be whatever it is that you set your heart to do with this platform. And when I talk about your purpose, we're not talking about, oh, my purpose is I want to make $1 million off of YouTube. No, we're talking about your purpose is you're trying to grow something, you're trying to make a certain impact, you're trying to reach a certain group of people. You have to sit down and talk to yourself and think like, hey, who am I trying to reach when I come live, like when I'm put in front of a whole big audience? What are we trying to accomplish here? And I see Harshit. Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, like you gotta learn your purpose. Like what's the purpose of what you're doing? Like, are you trying to be a streamer? Are you trying to be a content creator? Because a streamer and a content creator are two different things. And I think a lot of people, especially if you're new to this, like you want to, necessarily like, you know, I think a lot of people they want to like fit themselves into one category or the other, but you don't even have to necessarily pick one or the other. You can actually be a part of both, but it's all on how you do it, and it's all on how you split your time, and it's also based off of how you edit your content. So, like, if let's say you're the type of person you have a lot of content, but the content that you have, you tend to gear more towards a certain group of people. Well, that should let you know that, hey, maybe that might be your niche. So everybody has a different niche. Now, for anybody who's new to YouTube and to like being a content creator, let me explain what niche is in simple words, right? Niche is basically what's your target audience? Like, what's your goal? Who are you trying to reach? And your niche is dictated, actually, who you're trying to reach dictates what niche you end up in. So, for example, for me, I want to make reaction content, right? And so my niche would be like reaction content and anything that is like anything that I see on WordStar that just has people rattled, anything I see on YouTube or X or Facebook, Instagram, it don't matter. Anything that's thought provoking, I want to be able to review that content. That way my audience could be able to see like, hey, like this is what this guy stands for. This is what he stands on. These are his values. This is how he normally goes. And I think, once you pick whatever your niche is, that will really like it'll really push you far, you know. And I see Sebas, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you being a part of the live. And yeah, like I will say, like when it comes to finding your niche, it's not the easiest thing. Like you don't just sit one day and just decide, like, you know what, I just want to do this. It's something that you got to think about for a long time, because you got to think about it like this. If let's say this is going to be the thing that you think is going to get you to fame, it's going to get you to six figures, seven figures, eight figures, it has to be something that you can last in. Like if let's say you're doing something that, caters to people who, you know, it's a dated audience. So what that means is like the type of audience that you're catering to, yeah, like it's good for now, but like 2, 3 years it might be out the loop. You don't want to do that to yourself, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up creating a whole bunch of content, and those people will rock with your content for the time being. But what you're going to lose on the back end is the longevity. And anybody who came in shortly here, hello, hello. Gator, welcome. Raccoons, welcome. Sabas, welcome. Paka, welcome. But yeah, like anybody that you decide that, hey, like, you know, this is um this is what I want to mold my YouTube career to mirror. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you some examples that a lot of people know. So if you want to be like Castanet, right? You have to realize that Castanet does a lot of different things. Castanet doesn't just do reactions. He also does, you know, IRL content sometimes. Sometimes he'll switch it up and he'll be like, hey, you know what? In this content or in this part of my content, I want to focus on the gifts that my fans have given me. So I just want to be able to unbox everything in front of everybody so everybody can feel included. And so if you do want to become a big YouTube streamer, a big YouTube content creator, that's one of the things that you have to look at. Like, you can't just be one directional. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just doing this and that's it. One of the things that keeps a lot of people afloat, and this is the thing that nobody tells you, nobody's going to tell you this, but everybody has a winning plan at some moment, but that plan doesn't always thrive in every moment. So what that means is like, for example, you may have did like pop the balloon content. That's pretty good content. Like if that's what you want to do, that's great. However, you also got to realize like now if you do pop the balloon content, the people who made pop the balloon, they've trademarked that. So that means that if you do content, even if it's good, and let's say you get millions of views, guess what? Was that guaranteeing? It's guaranteed you're probably gonna get sued. Why? Because they've already trademarked that. So that's why I encourage a lot of people who are upcoming, like if you just started, myself included, you want to try the different routes that people ain't traveled before. That way you can make your margin on that lane. Like if let's say for example everybody's doing pop the balloon content, you come up with something completely different from that, but it still has a similar concept, people will move in your direction. Like you'll be surprised how many people will be like, man, I'm tired of saying the same old like pop the balloon da da da. But if you do it in a way where like, okay, if you pop the balloon, like you have to be able to give like good reason, and if you can't give good reason, then you have to get your balloon back. Just that alone, that little change right there could literally change everything. And if let's say one of y'all hears this and you want to take that idea, by all means, feel free to take that idea. Like, I don't gatekeep nothing, you know. Y'all my people, I want to make sure, like, you know, if I know something or if I find out something, I want y'all to be able to like enjoy it in that. So this ain't just my idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that like, you know, we gonna brainstorm through it. We gonna figure out like, you know, who it needs to go to. But I feel like at the end of the day, you gotta show people like, hey, I can create something out of nothing, and the thing that I made out of nothing became something. That's how you show people you're a true creator. You know what I'm saying? You gotta carve your own lane and you gotta set yourself apart from everybody else. You can't do the same shit that everybody else is doing. I could try to do the same shit that everybody else is doing, and guess what? It'll get me my initial followers, but in as far as the long run, eventually people not gonna know who I am. So because I've been following all these different trends left and right, trying to keep up with it, like, oh, this TikTok dance, let me do that. Oh, this other thing, let me do that. Oh, that other thing, let me do that. Yeah, I can try to do all of that. But the thing about it is, while I'm doing all of that, people are seeing my face, but they don't know what I stand for. They don't know what I'm about. They don't know what my principles are. They don't know, like, I could be an asshole for all y'all know. I could be a cool ass nigga. We don't know because if I never show people who I am. And so the thing that I will say is the key thing is you want to make sure that if anybody shows up to your channel, anybody shows up to your live, anybody shows up to anything that you do, you got to show them like, hey, look, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm about. And if you fuck with me, you'll fuck with that. Boom. And that's the thing. Some people might not necessarily subscribe to that. And it's okay. You know, not everybody has to subscribe to everything that you do. Because at the end of the day, one of the things about being like a good YouTuber, if you're thinking about long term, you got to think about the fact that your fan base always going to be your fan base. And at this point, like, you know, if you're just getting started, you may not have a fan base. But do envision what you would want your fan base to look like. So that means like if you don't want a whole bunch of people as part of your fan base, then don't do racist shit because that's what you're gonna have people feeding off of. If you feeding them that and that's what they're eating, the moment that you try to feed them something else, they're gonna turn on you. This is how the internet works. And that's why a lot of people like, even though you could be great, they reach a certain cap and then they can't go past that cap. Every time they try to go past that cap, they always get blocked because they understand that like, you know, in as far as the world and how it moves, like everybody has their own lane, you know. And Harshit, like I I appreciate you, brother. Like, you know, like I feel like hard work definitely pays off and like you got to keep doing the hard work. You got to keep trying. You got to keep trying different things. But at the same time, as you're trying different things, still let people know who you are as a person. Show people that you're genuine. Show people that you're loving. Show people that you're respectful. Things like that like are very slept on in the normal world. But if people see this on social media, like they'll they'll feel like, okay, I have a little bit of an understanding to this guy. Like I understand this guy. I know this guy. Like, and the more people see you and they're like, damn, like I can really relate to this person and like it makes me feel like I know him in real life, that's what will get you the most followers. When people feel that you are relatable enough, people feel that you're human enough. So that means like if you make mistakes, it's okay to admit that you made a mistake. Own up to it. Trying to run from it will get you canceled instantly. Because when you try to run from, you know, the idea that you've created for people, people gonna start pulling out receipts. They'll be like, hey, you're telling me that, you know, you're this nice person, But I had this moment right here. What were you doing here? And then what do you say? You don't have nothing to say. It puts you in a bad situation, all because of something that you created for yourself. Now, my thing is, this is part of the reason why, like, I could sit here and I could see, like, it's two viewers in here right now, right? And in the two viewers who are in here right now, guess what? Like, I'm still able to talk to them the same way that I would talk to if I had thousands of people in here. Why? Because I know what my purpose is. So if you speak into your purpose and you moving with your purpose, it doesn't matter whether you got one viewer, whether you got 100 million viewers. You are still doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the more that you keep doing that time and time again, the people who resonate with your message, they will keep coming back. And that's what gives you longevity. Like when you start, talking to people crazy, you start like cussing people out like, hey, you shouldn't be in my live, you shouldn't be this. Okay, you can do that. But the thing about it is you do also have to realize that that moment is recorded in time somewhere. So that means somebody can always bring that clip up of you saying, get all these, like if you said something crazy, and mind you, I would never say anything like this, but if you said something crazy like, get all these black people off my platform, you may have said it because one person pissed you off, but when you are part of the internet, it all lives on forever. So any little thing that you could say that could potentially upset people, do understand that people will hold you accountable to it. And so if you are just joking, you have to make it clear, like, because not everybody understands your humor. Not everybody's gonna understand what you mean. Not everybody's gonna understand where you come from or like, the principles that you live by so they can see like, oh, he was just playing because his lifestyle doesn't agree with that. So knowing that, you should know like, hey, I can't move like this. I can't act like this. I can't, be out here like just carrying myself whichever kind of way because I have a goal. I have a mission. I have something that I'm working towards. And if I have a goal and I have a mission and I have something I'm working towards, I'm not just going to sit here and just play games with it. And you shouldn't either. So if you are new and you are coming in right now, like I just want you to know, like, look, whatever your goal and your purpose is, you gotta see it through, my boy. Like you can't sit here and play games. Like time to play games is over. We was playing games back in 2024. We stopped playing games back in 2024. This is 2025. We got to step it up. We got to step up into our new purpose. We got to show people like, hey, this ain't just me talking. This is me living out what I'm saying. I could talk all day to y'all all day that I want, but it doesn't mean nothing if I don't put in the work. And that's the main thing that a lot of people who want to be content creators, streamers, or whatever, who don't necessarily make it, that's the thing that they're missing because you want to be pleasing everybody. You can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody. You have to learn your audience and make sure that you please them. And the thing about it is this: I do not advocate for being a people pleaser, but what I will say is there's a difference between being a people pleaser and advocating for your audience or like catering to your audience. So if you know that the people who are part of your audience, they naturally gather up to the type of message that you bring up, guess what? Those people try to cater the message towards them because they may need that message from you and you may have certain insight that they've never had. Like for me, I've never had somebody who sat here and told me like, hey, Kev, this is how you make this work. This is how you supposed to make this thing work. I've had to figure it out on my own. And granted, I've had a little bit of experience streaming before, but at the same time, this is a whole different platform. So I can't move the same way I used to. Now, and as far as did I watch the K-pop Demon Hunters after? No, unfortunately, I didn't get to that because I had to start this live shortly after. So my apologies, but I will get to it. I do still remember what you said though. Like, so I do want to watch it that way I can see what I can learn from it. And if anything, like, anybody who's in here, like, if you want to drop something in the chat, say what's up, say hello. I want to know who y'all are. Like, I want to know what y'all like, because at the end of the day, like I said, we all a community. We all trying to grow. We all trying to get to the next level. And if I can help you or you can help me or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm willing to do that for y'all. And I would hope that y'all willing to do that for me. Like, I'm nobody special. Like, I don't expect preferential treatment on anything. But I do feel like, yeah, we could definitely collab. Like, I'm always down for collabs. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I've actually been thinking about doing collabs with multiple people. And as far as the collabs that I plan on doing, like, I want to be able to either like have a type of conversation where we kind of have a back and forth. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a debate format or if it's just, we're just talking on like relevant subjects, or we could do it like in a way where, like, okay, like it's like me versus you, like we got to figure out like what's up with it. So for me, I'm open to either or. Like, I'm competitive, but at the same time, like, I also know like how to draw it back. And so if y'all ever do want to collab with me, I would not, shy away from that. Like, I feel like all of you guys, like, so far, like, y'all seem like good people. I love the energy here. I love, the community here. I love seeing, like, people getting along. I don't have Pinterest, but what other accounts do you have? If you have other accounts, maybe we can drop something on a different account. But I'm always down to work with people. Like, I feel like, at the end of the day, like, that's what being part of this small YouTube community is about. Like, is, working with each other, helping each other grow, learning from each other, teaching each other different things that we've learned. Because I know, like, everything that I know, you might not know, and everything you know, I might not know. And it's we gotta connect in order to make sure, like, the things that y'all don't know, I communicate to y'all, and then the things that y'all do know that I don't know, y'all communicate that to me. So if anything, like, hey, if you're just dropping in right now, like, hey, go ahead and drop. Like, I want to hear everybody, like, everybody in here right now. If we can do this, can I get everybody to give me one good piece of advice on becoming like a good content creator? Like, what would be the one piece of advice if somebody had to take you back to the moment that you didn't know this, and then now you know it? What would be the thing that you would prescribe for somebody? Like, if somebody was like, "Look, I'm dying from not having followers and stuff like that," what would be the prescription that you will give me? I want to know because everybody's journey is different. Like, I acknowledge everybody's journey, and I feel like I wanna be just as good as y'all. Like, like, because I do know that there are some people in here right now, like, who they killing the game right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to be one of them people killing the game right now. So, what are some things that y'all could tell me that you feel like will really change the game? Don't all speak at once, But for me, I would say another thing too that nobody ever told me, that if they would have told me this would have changed up so much, is the time that you post. Everybody has different times that they feel like you should post, but I had like I had looked at many different videos, different people talking about it, and I think the one thing that I realized is basically here's the idea, because everybody is part of a different niche and stuff like that, right? So one of the ideas that I heard was, okay, look back through your past videos, the ones that have gone like almost viral, and then see what times did these people view these videos. Not just that, but taking a notch further, look at the hashtags that you used and the time that you used them. That right there is some gems in itself, because using the right hashtags at the right exact time, that will literally send off your whole career. Like, it really could change a lot. You're not a social media person? Okay, okay. Well, look, if you subscribe to me on here, like on YouTube, I'll definitely subscribe back to you, and then we can be able to connect that way, and like we can talk about like the collab and everything like that. And anybody else who's also in here who would like to collab, I'm all about the community. So if you got like any propositions, like if you want to collab and you have a specific idea that you want to do, drop it in my inbox, because I want to see like what's everybody trying to do. Like I want to help people grow, but at the same time I also want to grow too. You know. So let's make this mutually beneficial. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. It's gonna benefit everybody. You feel me? To that. Cheers. So, what do y'all want to do? What's on your mind? Like, and as y'all think about that, I'll keep dropping some more gems on y'all. So, another gem that I learned: the length of your videos matters heavily. So, what I mean is this: so if you're doing YouTube Shorts, matter of fact, let me see how many people in here are doing YouTube Shorts. Like, if you're doing YouTube Shorts, I need you to put a one in the comments. And if you're doing long form content, so that means anything more than a minute long, I need you to put a two in the chat. I just want to see what everybody's doing. Y'all can indulge me for this 1 minute. But depending on what type of content you're doing, the thing about it is you're gonna need to make sure that you pay attention to how long the content is. So if you're doing short form content, 15-second videos, that's a banger right there. If you're doing long form content, make sure that it's at least 10 to 20 minutes long, because with long form content, what it will do is it'll earn you those 4,000 hours that you need to get monetized. So when they talk about you need 4,000 hours to get monetized on YouTube, that's what they're talking about. Can you earn that? The way to earn that is you gotta be able to create content that's about 10 to 20 minutes long, is engaging, and make sure like the main thing that I make sure like, okay, one, okay. So I as a short term short form content, sorry. Short form content, when it comes to that, um I do believe like that with short form content, 15-second videos are good. Anything less than an hour. But the thing about it is, if you have a second that's 17 seconds, or if you have a video that's 17 seconds long, try to see if you can convert it to where it's like you cut out something to where it comes down to 15 seconds, because that will make a difference in your numbers. And then also the hashtags. The hashtags that you use, that will dictate what audience it reaches. And so a lot of times people will just use very general hashtags. And I'm guilty of this myself. But general hashtags, like for example, viral, like for your page, trending, like those are good. But that's only one part of the formula. And I think a lot of people will put that and that be their whole formula. But that should be one half of the formula. And then the second half of the formula is going to be you also creating hashtags that match with the video or the content that you're posting. So, for example, if I post a video talking about Diddy, Diddy has been circulating through like, conversation here and there. If I posted a video about like, the Diddy situation, guess what? I have to make sure the hashtags also match. That way, whenever people are searching to see information on him, they land on my video. So that means that I gotta think about things like I could use a hashtag like the diddler. I could use a hashtag like did he do it? I can use a hashtag like P Diddy, Sean Combs, Puffy. Like I can use all of those because those all pertain to the content that I'm putting out. So if I was watching like a video and reacting to a video by Diddy, guess what? Or video about Diddy, as long as I got those in there, like that will definitely help. And then to take matters even further, I would say this. Okay, if I'm reacting from another, like if I'm reacting to something that another channel already reacted to, tag that channel. Like, as in, hashtag that channel. Let people know, like, this is where I got this from. Because what will happen is when you react to content by a specific big channel, whenever people search up the hashtags within that big channel, they will end up they'll end up at some point at your video. And so once they end up at your video, they're gonna watch it and they're gonna see like, I did that add any insight? So don't just repost any random thing. Repost something that like is giving people a certain insight that most people don't know. Like think about the things that you find out. Like if you've ever been the type of person where like you come across a certain fashion before people come across it, you can be able to be this type of person because you know how to curate things. You know how to like find things that other people can't find, and you already seen the value in it before other people seen it. You being that person, that makes you particularly instrumental to like the fame that you possibly can gain from that, because you can gain so much. You can learn so much from being the first person who reported on something. So, for example, right now people have been talking about the T app. The T app, they've been talking about it for about a week. Now, if you hopped on it last weekend and you posted one video about it last weekend, even if your hashtags weren't right, your video by now would have had at least 100 views. I ain't gonna say 100,000, but at least 100 views. And if you had the right hashtags, that 100 views goes from 100 views to maybe you got 50K views, 1 million views, 2 million views, and it could change everything. And the one thing that people don't tell you is when it comes to this like content creating stuff, all you got to do is be right one time, one good time, and be ahead of the curve. If you're ahead of the curve, you'll always be the person that people check to when they want to know, like, okay, what's going on here? This dude, he was ahead of the curve last time when it came to this. Let me go to his channel and see if they posted something about this. And this is why I talked about earlier about being consistent. If you're not consistent, when they go to check like those videos and they're like, oh, well, this person, like, they posted about this last week, da, da, da. Guess what? When they search this new topic and you don't have something on it, that might be the last chance that you were going to get with them. So you always have to make sure you keep putting out content every single, I ain't going to say every single day, because every single day, like, you can do every single day. There is nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not taking away from that. But I just know most people, they don't have the capacity to be able to post just one video every single day. And so I would say at least every 2 to 3 days, post a video. Post a video. Just because the thing about it is people are not gonna be able to trust you as the person like who they can come to for information until they've seen your face multiple times over where they didn't expect to see your face. So if let's say you popped up on their feed, they were like, wait, I didn't expect to see this guy, but like, oh, he has information about something that I'm looking for. That's gonna give them a reason to want to click on your video. That's gonna give them a reason to want to check you out, see what you're about. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, if you getting bored, it's okay. Like, I'm just my thing is right now, like we just spitting gems. Like, if you want to spit some gems, like for people who are like up and coming creators, by all means. But if not, you know, I take no offense to it. You know, do your thing, do your thing. But yeah, like if you really trying to like take this YouTube shit serious and you trying to get to a point where you monetize and you doing numbers out here, the advice that I'm giving right now, this shit is gold. Like this is stuff that I've curated for you, like for months, if not years. And the thing about it is I never really put it to practice until just now. And so everything that I'm telling y'all right now, y'all think I'm just talking, right? Give it give it a few months. Matter of fact, if you check back on this channel a year from now, you'll see I'll have way more than double the views, double the followers, double the likes, and all that shit. Because at the end of the day, it's not about okay. You said, do I have any tips which we can get rid of our small bad habits? Okay, when you say small bad habits, what type of things are you talking about? Like, are we talking about like you saying every other word? What are we talking? Because those are bad habits, but people do it. Like when I was in college, I actually took a class where it was a ironically enough, it was a class that was supposed to teach us how to do like presentations, like public presentation, and they talk about like verbal fillers. So a lot of people they have verbal fillers. So some people might be like, this, that, but then I've also had like people who are like, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, and that they just say that every 2 seconds. Like that's their verbal filler. Like when they run out of shit to say, that's what they say. And so there's certain different habits. So which type of bad habit are you talking about? And anybody else who's in here, feel free to ask me any questions that you feel like you'd want to know, like regarding like starting a new YouTube channel or like growing your YouTube channel. For me, I don't claim to be a genius in this. I just know that I've done a few things in other social media platforms, and for me, that's where I gain my strength to be able to speak on this. Because for me, I feel like I've cracked the code. I ain't had the chance to put it into full use all the way. And so right now, like with this whole YouTube thing, I'm putting everything that I'm learning into practice. And if you look at my channel, you can see like how many shorts do I have like that are over 10,000 views. If you see how many, that'll let you know like, hey, he might know something. I don't know. But if you don't want to have that type of knowledge, it's okay. I understand. If you just want to kick it and you just want to have fun, it's cool. We can kick it and we can have fun. But I want the people who are actually trying to learn that, I want to make sure like anything that I could teach you is going to be beneficial, something that could potentially change your life. It could change Because I think like a lot of people who are small YouTubers, they just don't have the right type of guidance in certain ways. So they just kind of like wing it. And as you wing it, eventually you foul out. But the only way you really foul out is if you stop trying. So you don't really foul out. But a lot of them like do understand that like they could have went way further. They could have had way more impact, but they didn't because they didn't choose the right strategies. They didn't have the right plan. I don't want to be that type of person. And I don't want y'all to be that type of person. That's why like I advocate for y'all to ask me questions. Cause if you ask me questions, I could be able to answer that for you. But you said such as thinking too much or thinking that we are being left behind and or nothing will happen. Nothing new in life, nothing exciting. Okay. So that's actually a pretty valid question. So I would say, and as far as that habit, the way I would personally combat that would be this. I feel like you have to realize what you're saying in your message, and I'm not trying to necessarily attack you personally, but when you say so Skylight, when you say you know, thinking too much or thinking we're being left behind or nothing will happen, nothing new in life, nothing exciting. So it sounds like if I had to duck, like it sounds like that's like losing motivation. So you're trying to figure out like how do you combat losing motivation? Is that am I understanding that correctly before I answer? I want to know like is it something about losing motivation or is it something about like just not feeling yeah, I would say just not feeling motivated. Like, you don't have that drive anymore. Like it's like, man, I don't know what to post. Nothing new under the sun. Like everybody that already did everything that's gonna go viral, stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about? Because if that is what you're talking about, I will say the one thing that I know is nobody right now, uh, nobody right now who is actually somebody worth like talking about. So we're talking about Casanet, I Show Speed, all them people like nobody who's actually worth talking about like is above what you're saying. So the type of struggle that you are having, that is a natural struggle of a creator. As a creator, you're always gonna have that time where you feel like, did I overthink this? Did I put too much into this? Did I not put enough into this? Am I being creative enough? Am I, copying that? Like, I don't want to seem like I'm copying, but I want to be creative. The answer to that question is this. I would say, based off of what you want to do, are you actually aligning with the purpose that you have for yourself? So this is why earlier I talked about like, hey, when you become a YouTuber or you want to become a content creator or anything like that, first things first, you got to learn your purpose. So, does that align with your purpose? And if that thought process doesn't align with your purpose, you should know that that's not something that's necessarily meant for you. Like in the sense of, if you feel like man, I can't do this, da da da. If that doesn't align with your purpose, you saying I can't do this ain't acceptable. You gotta show yourself. You gotta prove yourself. Because the thing about it is this: the one thing that's common among every big content creator, and I cannot reiterate this enough. So I'm gonna say it again. The one thing that is common among every big content creator is the fact that they believed in themselves before anybody else did. If you believe in yourself before anybody else does, it's okay. Because at first, people gonna laugh at you. People gonna joke at you. They're gonna be like, "What? You think you're gonna be famous or something?" Like they're gonna make jokes like that, and you have to take it on the chin, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's gonna change that statement that they made towards you versus reality is the type of work that you're willing to put behind it. So think about it like this: every time somebody doubts you one time, you should want to go double time and do something in the opposite direction to show them that the doubt that they had in you wasn't really solidified in nothing. So if somebody says like, oh, like let's say your channel is about like you making music or you like playing guitar or something like that, and people are like, yo, you suck, like you're a terrible guitar player. Okay, use that as fuel, use that as motivation, use that as the thing that propels you to get further. Because here's the thing: you can either resonate on a high frequency or you can resonate on a low frequency. Low frequency is self doubt, like self, like you're just hating yourself. You're not really like, having any type of like belief in yourself. You have no hope for yourself. That's resonating on the negative frequency. But if you turn that same emotion and you turn it into motivation, that's a whole different frequency because now you're vibrating at a higher frequency. And if you use it as motivation and you use that and you keep pushing that and you keep pushing that, eventually the world will confirm what. So the thing about it is the world that we live in, it conforms to our ideas. So when you resonate on a lower frequency, guess what? Everything that you're gonna get from like that moment is gonna be on a lower frequency. But when you resonate on a high frequency, everything you get from that point is gonna be on a high frequency. So you have to make that choice. It's not something that's just automatic. You have to be the type of person to be like, look, I know they said that I was gonna fail, and I know it's most of my friends who are saying that I'm gonna fail, but I know myself and I know that I'm born to win. That right there, you're living on a high frequency. Align yourself with people who align with that frequency, and then you'll see how far you can go. And that's all everything. Like you will literally go far because once you align yourself with the right type of people who also align within the positive frequency, it takes it so much further. And I think like you can be able to create that for yourself. I think you're capable of like creating that for anybody, and everybody is capable of this. But most people choose to reside. They choose to reside, mind you. So like this kind of like locations, right? Most people choose to reside in a lower frequency. So that would be the comparison of like if I had to put like comparison, I'd be like it's like you're living in like a place where like you're living in like a apartment with like roaches and shit. You you align them with that lower frequency. But let's say your mindset was so far to the point where you align yourself with the high frequency. That means that you're not gonna mind the roaches, but you know that the roaches ain't gonna be here forever because you know that At the end of the day, you're gonna be living in that mansion. You're gonna be living in that six car garage home. You know that. And the moment that you know that and you don't let nobody shake you from that, that's when you're gonna get that. The moment that you believe that, like, oh well, like they said that I wasn't gonna do this, like, because the thing about it is this: one of the biggest streamers that we know to this day, I Show Speed. His mom never supported him in like the whole streaming thing. If anything, she thought it was annoying, and she would like yell at him and tell him like, "Yo, turn off your stream, like, cut that shit out, like, be done with it." But he kept pushing, and now this motherfucker, like, he goes to China, and because he's in China, they're talking about like, oh wow, like who would have thought a streamer would be the person to like, command peace between China and America. This is a streamer, mind you. This is a young dude. Like, he's not old. Like, he's not like, he's 25, 28, 30, 40. No, this is like a 20-year-old kid. And a 20-year-old kid, just solely because he believed himself, he's able to make he's able to make moves to where like countries will move around him. Like, could you imagine going to China and China being like, "Hey, we're so glad that you came here. Like, we mind you, no racist. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just setting the scene here. But could you imagine going to China and being like, "We're so glad that you came here. Like, and like anything that you want. If you want like anything, you can let us know." And you go to China like that solely because you believed in yourself, that will change the whole trajectory, how you look at things. And that's what I'm saying. You can't look at things as you as the person that you are today. Look at it as you as the person that you're going to be in the future. In the future, you're going to be a big deal to where, like, you can't step into a room without people, like, being like, oh my God, is that really him? When you start being in that type of setup, these type of questions start looking like real mundane. Like, you're gonna be like, damn, like, was I really worried about the fact that what if you know, I'm thinking too much or whatever? You're not gonna worry about that because the world is gonna be able to resolve that for you and show you like, hey, you weren't thinking too hard. It was not the right time for you, but like now it is the right time for you. So at that point, they're gonna give you that opportunity to sit at the throne. Be able to come out there and like be able to like really like kill shit out there. And you can't kill shit if you don't believe that you can kill shit. That's the major thing right there. Like, you can't be like a winner if you don't believe that you're gonna win at something. So part of you believing that you're gonna win at something, the biggest part of that is you believing in yourself first, before anything. Once you believe in yourself and you believe that I'm built to be great, I'm built for greatness. Failure is not a part of who I am. Once you really believe that, everything else that you could try, it could try to force you to believe that, like, I don't know, you may think you're great, but you might not be. But if you believe that and you keep pushing and you keep building and you keep, like, like really, like, checking in on that, you're going to eventually find out, like, damn, I was a champion all along and I was sleeping on myself. And people were sleeping on me and I let them sleep on me. Whole time you could have been the person that you become. So it's up to you. Like, what do you want to choose for your life? Like, do you want your glory to come now? Do you want to withhold it for the next 5 years? Do you want that motherfucker to come 20 years from now? Because you pick. You are the one who decided. I'm not deciding for you. I'm not the one saying like, hey. this person gonna be great, this person ain't, that. You're picking that for yourself. But if you said that you're gonna be great, you now have to start moving that way. You gotta move as if you're gonna be great. You gotta move as if you're already great. And once you start moving as if you're already great, it's the same way. Like, for example, if you give a broke person a lot of money, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna end up being broke again. But if you give somebody with the winning mindset, even if they're broke, a lot of money, that person gonna be they gonna win. They gonna make more money out of that than what y'all gave them. So that comes to say it's not necessarily the type of person that you are, but it's more so how much do you really believe in the dream that you say that you believe in. You can say like, oh, I'm gonna be the greatest here. I'm gonna be the greatest YouTuber. I'm gonna be the greatest content creator. That's cool. But how far are you willing to work to make that happen? What have you done to show that you're willing to fight for that? If you have not done anything to show that you're willing to fight for that, that means that maybe you may not be putting enough work. And if you are putting enough work, guess what? If let's say you're putting one video out and it's not getting you the result that you want, put 3 videos out a day and see how much of a difference that makes. And I promise you, that will make a huge difference because there's gonna be videos you're gonna put out, like you're gonna be like, I don't know if that's gonna really hit, and they do. Or you might put out videos like where you're like, oh, this is gonna be great, and it don't hit on nothing. But the fact that you don't get discouraged and you keep pushing, that's what makes the difference. So that's what I want to preach to everybody who wants to do this because this is not an easy sport. This is not something you can just walk onto and just think like you're just gonna win at this. I didn't just walk onto this. Like I've had prior experience on this, and even with that, like I still have to push myself. I still have to like every day be like, man, look, I know I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do this. And not to say like I don't want to create content for y'all, but it's just I don't want to do it in like on a daily basis, like in the sense of how they would maybe have me do it. But at the same time, I also understand that that's what I have to do in order to be able to be relevant, in order for people to understand like where I'm coming from, in order for people to like support me, like, and so I'm gonna keep pushing that. I can't force that to not be the case. And I feel like a lot of people out here, they're talented, talented beyond disbelief. But even though you're talented beyond disbelief, you haven't put enough work out there to show people that that's what you are. They don't know that you are talented beyond disbelief. I might know that because I happen to see your channel like here, but they've never seen it. So if they've never seen it, they don't know like what you're capable of. And it's up to you to show them what you're capable of. Now, here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to go live. I will say this. If you post shorts, regularly post shorts. That way to the point where people like if they see an event and they're like, "Oh, I seen it on your channel," and they want to come back because they seen another event and they want to see what your viewpoint was. If you don't have anything to show them, they're gonna not. They're probably gonna unsubscribe to you. If I'm being honest, is that your fault? No. You just putting out content however you feel like you need to. But people will move like that, and you have to acknowledge that. That's part of the game. And the thing about it is, like, yeah, why yes, you know, I expect that like the videos that I post, they're gonna get views and stuff like that. Even though I expect that, at the same time, there's nothing that guarantees me that. The only way I can really guarantee that for myself is if I actually make sure that every single day I'm posting something, I'm putting something. you're seeing my face everywhere to the point where every time you see my face, you want to check out the video. You don't even know what the video is about. You just want to see, like, what's Kelvin talking about today? Because I fuck with Kelvin. He seems like he's cool. I like the way that he does his reactions. So you want to become that. And I'm telling y'all, like, y'all can become that. Like, and if anything, Skylight, I promise you, you can become that. You just have to, like, really, like, believe in yourself. And in the moments that you say you've run out of content to create, guess what? This is why ChatGPT exists. ChatGPT can really, they can come up with like a whole caption for you. They can come up with a whole script for you, whatever you need. So if you run out of gas and you're like, hey, what should I talk about? Ask ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, give me a list of the 5 most relevant subjects that are trending right now. ChatGPT will give you that. Speak on any one of those things. You ran out of ideas? Every time you run out of ideas, do that. And you'll never run out of any ideas again. So you said such as thinking too much or thinking that we're being left behind or nothing happens, nothing new. Yeah. So I just want you to know, like, ChatGPT, that is a good source. Because you can ask ChatGPT, be like, hey, what are the most trending topics right now? And then it gives you a topic, and then you just got to speak on it. Boom. You have content right there. And every time that you post something among one of those subjects, people are already checking for it. So the only thing that you got to do is you just got to guide that audience right to your video. Put the relevant hashtags, put like the relevant like thumbnails, and before you know it, your video is gonna be in front of their eyes, and now they gonna have to like see like, okay, what's this person talking about? And if you're always talking about, something good like that they can relate to, they'll subscribe because they'll be like, okay, well, like I like the way this guy thinks, and they'll keep coming back, and you gotta show them like what's worth coming back to. So it's not easy, but like once you start like looking at it that way, look at it from a consumer standpoint. Like, what would be the consumer of your material? What would they want? What type of other stuff are they looking at? And then find a way to bridge that gap. The type of stuff that they're looking at versus the stuff that you're posting. Once you bridge that gap, they're all yours. And they can still watch that other stuff. Because the thing about it is, the world that we live in today, like you can watch something 1 second and watch something the next second. So that's my thought process on that. But it's been real talking to y'all. I hope, I've given y'all some gems. I'm gonna leave this on my channel that way, like, in case like you heard something earlier that you want to reference back, or if you know if you, let's say, want to just turn back something that I said just hit, you can always rewind, reverse, whatever. But I say this all to say thank y'all so much for tuning in. It is your boy Kev Kenyon, and this is Kev Kenyon TV, and we are out.